So I do a lot of presentations right now. Our technology is very hot, but I got to tell you, the big Texas trailer company manufacturing is one of the great company titles I've seen in a while.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. Big Tex trailer manufacturing, that's great. So with that being said, while it's fairly obvious what you do, maybe you can fill in the blanks a little bit, and more importantly, talk about what you're using for web tools.
Well, we're doing a lot for web tools in terms of websites, marketing, and everything in between. Obviously, I don't know how familiar you are with what we're doing or what we're not doing. I know you'd spoken with Tammy Foster, and she kind of forwarded you to me, and you asked me if we'd do a meeting, and I figured we'd talk because you had some good points there on your email, and we're always willing to learn and see if other services work. But we pretty much we use, you know, a variety of different analytical sites. Number one probably being Google Analytics with our websites. You know, that's been the most useful tool. We use, obviously, Compete, Nibbler. We've got a new site that we just started using here in the last couple of weeks. We're extremely I've been the marketing director for about 6 months. I was with Big Tex for about a year before I became marketing director, and kind of stumbled on that position due to a special project I had, and did some marketing on it, and it was like, wow, we thought we were marketing, but we're brand managing. We're not really marketing. So
that's actually a brilliant distinction. A lot of people don't get that distinction.
That's correct, and brand management is extremely important. Has grown as we've seen the results and the payoff from.
So we maybe starting with Google and then kind of where we depart from there. Google is kind of the standard bearer, especially for page motion or you know, page methodology, right? So you see what pages people are on, how long they were on them, and then you get a variety of analytic data based on that.
Yes.
And at the end, basically, you've got some kind of win or loss, right? People came and filled out a form, they bought something. Obviously, a bunch of informational on what people can buy online or not buy online. I'm looking at your site right now as we speak. I looked at it earlier, but it looks like there's the ability to fill out forms for more info, maybe pricing. And I'm guessing too that there's maybe you know, the opportunity to become a buyer, obviously apparel and things like that. So the question is you know, Google's giving some good initial data about where people are roaming around your site and maybe how long they're on the individual pages. But it's also latent data, right? It's you know, somebody came and they left. Okay, great. It tells you about what they did, but it doesn't necessarily tell you about why. Why did they do this? Why did they leave after 3 minutes instead of 7 minutes? Why did they fill out the form? You know, they looked at the gooseneck, the equipment here, they looked at a specific trailer, they looked at quite a few of them, and they clicked on the inquiry here, started to fill out the form, and then abandoned it. You know that they did. The question is why. And can you, what is it you can figure out, or what kind of data can you get from that to be able to modify what's happening, to change your abandonment rates or increase your conversion rates? So moving forward, that's where UCO comes into the picture. We've developed our own technology. It's called live customer interaction recording. And so what you're looking at, you can see the screen, are two examples of it. The first one is an example of a PC screen, and the second one is an example of a mobile screen. This is an entire end-to-end recording of every customer that comes to your website. Every mouse click, every keystroke, every moment they traverse around your site, you have a recording, and a recording not just of what they're doing, but also recording that's given to you in the context of what they actually see, what it looks like on their screen. So number one, you get to understand usability, right? In other words, somebody's on your site, they're looking at a big text trailer or equipment, and they are looking at it on a handheld. Well, handhelds have a special problem. It's not easy to get data on them that sits well. It's always not easy to input data. So understanding usability on different modalities is really, really important, between a mobile and a tablet and a PC. So we're going to give you right away important information about what your site looks like to end users. Next, now the question is, what do you do with all that data? Do you have an idea how many visitors you have a day or a month or a week?
There's a day, Big Text Trailer World gets about 1,500 visitors a day.
Okay. Okay, so you're running about 45,000, something like that, a month. Okay. So the question now is, what do you do with that data? You have all these people come to your site. They've looked around your site, and now we've given you individual customer recordings of all the people that come to your site. What we do is we break those visits up into sessions. So every single time a person comes to your site, that's an individual session. And so the same person comes multiple times. What we're going to do is we're going to catalog those for you as X number of individual sessions. So for example, in the example here, somebody came 84 times. Now, you probably, for your industry, I don't know exactly what the number is, but it tends to be pretty generic. People typically, before they buy something, are going to come and look at least a few times online before they pull the trigger, on average. So let's say they're going to look on average of 3 to 5 times before they fill out the form for a trailer. It's useful to know who those people are so that you can try to either shorten the cycle or you can try to give them some incentives to modify their behavior. So let's say, for example, that you wanted to tag every person and either see the videos and or coalesce the videos into some kind of statistic. Everybody that came and looked at a gooseneck or a trailer. And especially you might want to focus on maybe people that have come to the site and either filled out the form and abandoned it, or maybe they've come and looked at that same thing 3 times. So now we're going to give you the ability to know who they are, to tag them, and then the next time they come, you could create a little drop-down screen for them saying, hey, we've got a promo going on right now, or we've got the 214 model is coming out this spring, or we're having a event at our site. You're welcome to come. Here's tickets. Here's how you get tickets, and or you can do a live chat. You could you have a live chat component. These are just individual sessions right here. I'm going to take you to live chat. This is the live chat component right here. Let me press the screen right here for you. So these are all examples of people pages and traversing around around the website. So you could trigger, say you wanted to focus on everybody that was on certain high-value products. Your really high-end expensive trailers, maybe somebody had been a couple of times with that trailer. You could flag those people and have somebody chat with them and say, hey, welcome to the site. Did you know we're having this event or this promotion? So again, it's a way to, instead of letting Google just be latent data that tells you what people have done, now you've got information that's analytic but also actionable. And in the case of somebody that's come and filled out a form, for example, for every one person that fills out the form, there's 10 that either start to and don't, or are buzzing around thinking about it. That's the low-hanging fruit. If you can convert 2 or 3 or 4 more of those people, that's a pretty arithmetic growth in inquiries, which are leads, which obviously convert to sales. So that's how we're able to use our application and make it ROI-driven and actionable data.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay.
We currently do a chat on our Big Tex Trailer World site, which has been a phenomenal feature.
Okay. Well, our chat feature is customized to specific tagged people. So so the chatting is great, but ours can trigger. I mean, you may have a guy that's been your site 5 times, has looked at trailers, but maybe the 5th just thinking around some other page, right? So this allows you to identify who they are and what they've specifically been looking at. So you can tailor your chat message to them. Hey, say, just so you know, we've got this promo going on this trailer. We noticed you've been here a ton or something like that. So it's more intelligent, but obviously you can see that's an effective tool. Dashboard form that's really easy to use and look at. Now, the features we have on here are kind of our standard feature set, but we could replace these or modify these with specific analytics that you wanted. How many people went to a certain page that was really high value, or maybe how many people went to a page that's low traffic that you're trying to increase. Again, we can tailor these screens to be either raw data or we can do graphs and charts and what marketing people like. So what we got, for example, just to run you through it real briefly, is up here is, oops, I'm sorry about that, is this one right here is the percentage of increase or decrease in traffic, average time they're on the site, bounce rate. This is a really important one, desktop people versus mobile. Social reach, people coming to you from Facebook or Twitter, or LinkedIn or some social site. Words, obviously, in your case, what were the search words that they used, they typed into to find your site, and search engine, which ones they use. This next one, do you all use conversion funnels?
Do we use what's that?
Conversion funnels?
No, sir.
Okay. This is, I think, one of the great emerging tools in web marketing. I'll give you an example. There was a customer that engaged with us recently that was a weight loss company, and when I talked to her, I said, let me kind of guess your conversion process or your funnel process. People probably go to the home page, they go to the science about their weight loss, they go to testimonials, pricing, and then they buy it. She goes, that's exactly right. So the question is really understanding the flow of your website, right? You have these pages up, but the question isn't just what pages are up and and what pages people are on. The question too is about the flow. A person comes to your site, and hopefully at the end they're going to fill out a form or buy something. The question is what happens in between, and it's a step process. People don't go from the home page to the request for information page or the buy page. They usually go to that, maybe a little about you or about big text, where you're located, and then maybe look at specific products, and then from there click on wherever. So the question is really understanding the flow so you can understand where people drop out of the funnel and fix it. So you know, if somebody comes to the big text homepage and then looks a little bit about you and then basically drops out, you know, that's important to know. Is there not enough information? Is there too much? Is it too hard to read? You know, what's going on that's dropping people out of the funnel? And then they just, you know, don't fill out a form. You know, the question is, again, trying to understand why. Are there usability issues? Is there something about the site that's unclear? You know, looking at some videos to get a sense about, you know, on a handheld, it's so tough to, so, you know, that's all important data and really trying to understand where people are dropping out, and we're not going to give you any kind of data like that. Just going to tell you where people stopped, and that's it. What are some tools? Is another obviously emerging technology in terms of managing the way, you know, one of the questions is, what about people that have got, you know, they're using their finger? Well, we have technology that allow you to see what the finger movements are. So again, they're, you know, as they drag their finger around the screen, you're able to load it right now. You're able to get a sense, again, their movement around, you know, more data as people move in this area. It's important data to have. And we've got that technology. Lastly, let's see if I've got the page here. The question about competitive intelligence. We have a supplemental product. It's called DCI, Digital Competitive Intelligence. I think this is a must-have for anybody that, you know, has got good competition. Who would be probably your strongest competition? Probably what, 3 or 4 or 5 main competitors? 3?
We've probably got legitimate competitors, probably a dozen.
Okay. All right, great.
Because we're spread out so far, geographically speaking.
That's what I figured. So, but this is a great tool for understanding what they're doing. What's their traffic rank? What's your traffic rank? What's the difference in you know, hits they're getting via you know, Facebook or some social? If their you know, social ranking rises, you know, that's important to know. If all of a sudden their traffic ranking spikes up, that's important to know. You know, if you see the impact changes on social media, where is their traffic coming from that? Sales headlines, what's happening internally at the company? What about changes in keywords, changes in content? You know, probably it's a good idea to know if there's a big sale going on, a big promotion, or a new technology. This basically, at a dashboard glance, is phenomenal in giving you really key, crucial data on all your competition. This is like a marketing person's dream here about having a single point to be able to collect a lot of really good web competitive intelligence. And again, this is included in the product set. Just at the bottom here is, you know, it also gives you some metrics to go into, things like average load speed. You know, what are your competitors' load speeds? What are yours? You know, query updates, things like that, where you really get a sense about, you know, how you rate relative to other people, you know, just from usability. So it's a really, really good tool. Any questions on anything?
No, sir.
You know, our aim in this meeting is to give you a sense about what we got and see if it fits into your tool set. So I guess the question would be, any feedback?
No, I'm with you. I'm learning.
Okay. Okay. Well, we with our product, I guess the question is really kind of the next step. Are you actively looking for additional tools? I guess what it sounds to me like you guys are starting to again try to be more aggressive in your marketing campaigns and really try to generate more from day one. How I guess what's your overall feeling about the product?
Well, it looks very similar to Google Analytics to an extent. Obviously, it looks like you may have some additional functions that we're programs.
Okay.
What does your program cost?
Great question. We charge for 50,000 traffic or less. It is $750 a month.
Okay.
And there's a $995 setup fee. So it's we think about, and actually I'm glad you brought up Google Analytics one more time. This is probably a really important distinction that I didn't make. If you compare our analytic capabilities to Google, we offer roughly about 1,000 times more data. And so, I can't. I typically use the scenario again of if someone's breaking into an apartment and there's a motion detector, motion detector will tell you what rooms they were in and how long they were there and when they left. If you've got a video camera, you're going to be able to see what shoe size, what color hat, were they wearing pants or shorts, what were they carrying, what did they take. So it's the same thing. There's so much more data that they collected that it is much, much deeper. And as I said, roughly about 1,000 times more data collection than Google. Now, that's important on a couple fronts. One is that we're able to give you a deeper data dig. We're also able to go backward, too. You may come back in a month or two and say, I want to go back over the last couple months and see, statistic X or Y. We collect all the data there is to be gotten. So I want to see, how many people clicked on this link, or how many people in the month of February, were, hanging around this page for this long. We're able to give you really virtually any data that you want. And again, with the idea being that you're going to be able to, with the live feature and the, tagging feature, be able to generate more ROI.
Okay.
So that's pretty much, pardon my analogy, that's where the rubber hits the road. So, I guess the question would be, these meetings I would say are, to me, are not about consensus, but about clarity. Most people tend to fall in one of three camps. Number one is, I get your technology and I see it could, be a fit in our tool set. Number two is, I get your technology, I'm not clear if it would be. And number three is, I don't really get it and it's not a good fit. So I guess the question is, where do you think you fit in that spectrum?
I'm a number two.
Okay, number two. Okay. Now, when you say, and I appreciate that answer. When you say you're not clear, I guess the question would be, again, Google's giving you good data about where people came. How about, are you keeping any kind of abandonment rates, for example, for people that fill out forms that don't finish them? Do you keep any type of success ratios about, how many people, come to the site that ultimately fill out a form? How deep is your dig in those areas?
Well, we know virtually, we're getting less than 0.1% of form completions per visit, no doubt about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, this certainly would be one tool that would help you significantly increase that. More importantly, too, I don't know if you track abandonment rates, but the question would be how many people start to fill out a form that don't finish it. And so, again, if you did the math for if that's 1/10 of 1%, it may be that 1% of the people are filling out a form they just never completed. So that would be incredibly useful data to have, not just who they are, but why. And back to the funnel issue too, which is, what can we do to get, well, people say, okay, we only had 1/10 of 1% of people that fill out the form, but there may be 3 or 4% of people that are on the path to it that just never quite get there because they fell out somewhere else because there was some kind of issue in their mind, either a usability issue or they didn't get the data they needed, or they weren't clear on the hours, or they forgot to hit the right button. So, again, understanding the flow of those people all the way to the end is, again, what our data is going to give you. We've got case studies that we're working on, but, we feel like, as a general rule, we can increase conversion rates to, 20 to 30%, and reciprocally decrease abandonment rates up to 50%, based on just taking our application and doing the analysis.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look this over with our web development team.
Okay.
And be back in touch with